The champs is here.
Yo, we out here on the track where the dreamers run. Each step a testament, yeah, we get it done. Crushing all the hurdles, breaking through the pain. The Texas sun shines bright as we train in the lane. Push it to the limit, never look back. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. From Dallas to Houston, yeah, we're raising the bar. Every athlete's story, every victory a star. We hustle on the field, focus sharp like a spear. The clock's ticking down, but the finish line is near. With every single stride, we own the sound. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. From Dallas to Houston, yeah, we're raising the bar. Every athlete's story, every victory a star. We hustle on the field, focus sharp like a spear. The clock's ticking down, but the finish line is near. With every single stride, we own the sound. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. So lace up your shoes, let the journey commence. Texas Track Dad, we build the suspense.
Yo, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Hey, thank y'all for coming to the show once again. We already popping up. We got 30 in here right now. We got IG powering up over there. We got some folks jumping in on IG. Like I say, this is going to be pretty much like an open mic show, like on my last one, man. If y'all got any comments or anything, drop them in the comments. We'll get to them when we can. If you want to speak on what we're talking about, just let us know. We'll get that. We'll get your questions or whatever you got to say about the issue on there. So this show today, we're going to talk about this this new NCAA Track and Field proposal, whatnot, that's going to be effective next 25-26 as far as roster limits and all that good stuff. So I got two coaches I'm bringing on. I got Coach Vaughn, I got Coach Harvey. They're going to do a formal introduction once I bring them up here. But I just got to give them a shout outs to TTFCA. They got a winter clinic going down. Make sure you go on ttfca.org, get registered for that winter clinic. Check it out. It's going to be down there in Waco. And also shout out to my guys over there at Trackborn. Hey, another thing, if you're an unsigned senior, I'm actually having a unsigned senior show space, whatever you want to call it, on X. It's going to be on the 23rd. So go to X, put in Texas Track Dad. It's on my profile. Just click on there and get your reminder, and it'll get you set in. Let's go ahead and bring the coaches in right now. We got my guy, Coach Vaughn, here. We got my guy, Coach Harvey. Hey, coaches, how y'all doing?
Hey, now.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you once again for coming on the show, so we can discuss this stuff. Like I was telling you earlier, I just feel this. Some information is going out. Some of it is positive. Some of it is not good. Just trying to get some clarification on what's going on with these roster spots, some recruitment stuff and like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all introduce yourself, then we'll jump into the discussion.
Go for it, Coach.
Hey, aloha, everyone. I'm Coach Harvey. I'm a high school club coach here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Shout out to Waco, Texas. That's my hometown. I grew up in Texas, Waco, class of Waco High, 93. Nice. But I've been here in Hawaii for a minute since 2014, where my daughter competes in track and field. And like I said, I do club. So just got back from the USATF annual meeting, which is pretty awesome. Some things to share. But thank you, Coach. Coach Texas Track Dad, for having me here. Looking forward to the conversation.
No problem at all.
My name's Coach Lamont Vaughn. I'm the head track and field coach at Grambling State University. Number one, appreciate y'all having me on. I have done now, this is the beginning of year 28 in my career. Been doing this for a long time. Coached at UCLA, coached at Washington, Louisiana Tech, Marshall, places like that. And this is my third season as the head coach at Grambling State University.
Nice. So we got a lot of experience in here. So like I say, y'all get y'all questions in on this topic. But what I'm gonna do, let me bring this up here, so everybody can see it here. So if you go to Google, and like I was telling coaches earlier, if you Google this topic, it's not easy to find. I mean, it'll pop up, but you got to kind of dig a little deep and see what's going on. Unless you're going to read the whole settlement on who's all involved in this, it's a headache. Then I went to YouTube. I put it in YouTube, and every YouTube show is almost over an hour talking about this. That's how crazy this thing is. But what I'm gonna do for y'all now, I'm gonna play this, and we'll hop into the discussion, and we will take it from there. Let's see.
Is this how AI works?
Coach,
I'm
I don't.
getting,
We're
I'm
not
getting
getting the feedback. I think it's not reading the screen reader's not catching the audio.
Oh, okay. Hey, in the comments, I don't know if y'all can hear it. I can hear it on my end. Let me just stop it here. Let's see. All right, I can hear it on my end, but if y'all cannot hear that, pretty much it's here right here. If you're looking at search engine, just go online and put that in there. But pretty much NCAA's proposed roster limits for the men's and women track and field is 45 athletes per team. That's going to be on both sides there. It say new limits are part of a settlement agreement that was between NCAA and several other organizations. The settlement is intended to address benefits from Division I athletes, including NIL. The new limits are expected to be effective 25-26. The new limits will reduce the opportunities. This is important right here. The new limits will significantly reduce opportunities for walk-on athletes. However, schools are not obligated to fulfill the new limits to the maximum. They will only be required to follow the limits if they choose to distribute revenue among their athletes. The new limits could lead to budget costs or even program cuts for programs that don't generate a lot of revenue. And I know, Coach, Coach Vaughn, I know you touched on that a lot the last time we spoke about. It's going to be. Oh yeah, sorry about that, Tiffany. Yeah, that's why I just read it. I guess y'all can't hear it on my end. But I'll put that link to that what I just read. I'll put it in the comments so y'all can go check it out. But yeah, I know you talked about it before, Coach. Yeah, we're gonna get y'all thoughts on it, but just my take on it is what I'm getting from it. Something happened that caused this whole thing to come up, and they're now limited to like 45 on the women, 45 on the men, and that's not 45 scholarships, right? It's going to be 45 spots. So I didn't talk enough on this subject over a month. So I just want to get some more insight. And whoever want to go first and start it off, let's hear it.
Coach Vaughn, please.
Well, what I know, and I'm not an expert on it, because the sad part for me is A lot of us in the track and field world as coaches, we don't sit on the table when these decisions are made. So we're all learning how to deal with this. So my understanding is the NCAA cap is 45 per gender. That's the NCAA cap. 17 of those can be up to 17 of those can be to cross country. Okay. So the teams with the super large cross country rosters, the super large track and field rosters, they're going to have to minimize both. Right. So that's the NCAA limit. Now the conferences also have to agree upon what limits they are willing to go to get the sport in. Right. So I know the SEC came out a couple of weeks after that and said that they were going to 35 and 10. Okay. So not every conference has decided, or either if they have, they haven't announced it, that what their roster limitations are going to be for each sport. Right. And so this is not just for track and field, this is each sport. Football, your power institutions and most of your mid majors that were funding 85 scholarships are now able to go to 105, and that's their roster limit. Now they can fund up to 105 if they want, but they don't have to fund the 105. Okay, but their limit is 105, and that's the NCAA cap. So our cap is 45 in track and field, indoor and out, and 17 for cross country. Okay. And so now, once that decision is made by the NCAA, now it goes to the conferences. The conferences now say, okay, no, we want to do this number for men and women. They can do more for men. They can do more for women, or less for women and less for men. Whatever combination they feel is best for them. And then each school has to decide whether they're going to opt in to the roster limitations. If you opt in, at whatever level you're going to have as a roster limit and whatever you're going to fund, you do not have the option to opt out. So you can't come back 2, 3, 4, 5 years later and say, oh, no, we're out. Right.
So it's a done deal. It's a done deal if those schools choose to do it, or is it like they have to stay in there for 5 years? Or
my understanding is, as long as this is in effect, that once you opt in, you cannot opt out. Now, once you opt out, I haven't heard if you can go back and opt back in. But if you opt out, you're basically deciding that you're killing the sport. Whatever sport that is, you decide to opt out on. So we're trying to, everybody's trying to figure that out. Our conference has not announced anything to us. So, the SWAC hasn't made a decision. If they have, it hasn't gotten to the ADs and the presidents yet. And then the ADs and presidents have to decide of how much of that they're willing to fund.
So I got a comment here. Coach K84 on IG said, keeping in mind that this is only NCAA Division I. So why were they chosen? Is it a money issue? That's where all the money is, or
that's where the majority of this money is, or the perception of where this money is. Because not everybody's sitting out here making all this money that they think they make.
Yeah, right.
And the lawsuit, I mean, this whole thing, to be totally honest, all of this is what you're seeing. It goes back to the EA Sports video games, the Ed O'Bannon and his brother, and that Arizona State quarterback that I can't remember. It all goes back to that, right? And so all of these things, the Miami eligibility stuff, Maurice Claret, you can even put some of those roots back into the death penalty that SMU football had and Kentucky basketball had at one point. I'm a Kentucky grad, by the way. But it can all go back. Pieces of that is all in what's going down now. And trust me, there's more coming. There's more coming. The ramifications of this, you're going to see programs cut scholarships. You're going to see programs cut the sport, cut several sports maybe. You're going to see, I think there may be some increases in women's scholarships in some instances. But the haves are going to have, and the have-nots are going to be further apart from the haves. I mean, I don't want to name names, but, I mean, as we know it in our conference, there's not as many fully funded programs in our conference than I thought there was. after speaking with some of my coaching colleagues. So now, what do? The programs that are fully funded, what do they do? Everybody's starving artists out here in some way, shape, or form, and it's got to be a nightmare. I mean, it's a nightmare on my end. I can't really plan for it because I don't know yet. So I just got to keep moving in the direction that I'm moving, filling all of my scholarships up and making a competitive team as best as possible until they tell me otherwise. So I just got to keep on recruiting, and my staff's got to keep on recruiting. We got to keep on moving on. But the other thing that I was thinking about the other day is how does this affect dual sport athletes? Say if especially volleyball goes well with track and field because of the seasons. Football always has gone hand in hand with track and field in a lot of ways. And let's say my for argument's sake, let's say I'm at 45 and I have a roster limit of 45. If I'm at 45 heading into the indoor season, am I going to cut somebody to bring on a football player? Is that going to happen? That could happen.
Because they just not getting out their season, right?
Yeah, that could happen. And I've got a whole fall to determine who I'm keeping and who I'm telling to move on. So there's a lot of ramifications in what's going to happen with this. I made a tweet a couple of weeks ago. Those guys that were trying to use track and field to backdoor into football. That's not happening because if football's at their roster limit and track's at their roster limit, you're not going to be able to do that. Or if you don't have the times that we're looking for, and we're at our roster limit or approaching our roster limit, like how I evaluate walk-ons is going to be totally different. We're going to have to. I mean, I don't do a lot of tryouts anyway, but
it kind of put them in a spot now. Put y'all coaches in the spot now. Can I really waste a spot on a walk-on? Right?
You got to reevaluate from the top of the roster to the bottom. All of this stuff is so insane right now, but we're going to have to adjust. This is not going anywhere. NIL's not going anywhere. All these roster limitations aren't going anywhere. This stuff it's in.
It's going to get increased.
So we're going to have to learn how to deal with it. And at some point, we're going to have to learn how to deal with it. And it's chaos right now, though. It is chaos. I know programs that have already told their team, like, a lot of y'all going to have to find somewhere else to go. I was looking at the transfer portal this morning. There's almost 30,000 people in the transfer portal in every, just all sports combined. There's almost 30,000 people. I think the last number I saw was maybe 29.5 or something like that. Which, like when I checked this morning, it was like 14,000 men. 14.3.
That's an entire university.
You should have seen what it was. I mean, you should have seen what it was last week. Last week it was 20,000. So in a week, you're talking about an extra 10,000 people have gone into the portal.
Oh, so it's going up instead of going up.
Yeah, and with the football portal just opening up this week, you're seeing it go insane right now. So it's a logistical nightmare for coaches. Because just trying to get people in and admissions after people make these late decisions. The admissions people want to go on break just like we do. Right. Yeah. So we're flooding them now. Now you got to onboard more people with physicals and paperwork and all this other stuff. So it creates a lot more work, and you got to as a head coach, you got to think with administrative mindset, and you got to start seeing these problems before they happen. So I can't obsess over it because I got a job to do, right? But I got to be aware because at some point it's going to affect how we move, and we've got to figure out a way for it to positively affect us. Because at the end of the day, again, I've said this many times on many different formats. My AD is not asking me what's happening at Texas Relays. He wants to know what's going to happen at the SWAC championships and beyond. Right. So our jobs are on the line based off of the performance of these young people, academically, athletically, and socially.
Yeah.
So the evaluation now just gets deeper. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
do I take the same kind of walk on kid, right? If everything's even with times and performances and jumps and throws, do I take that? You know, now do I make a decision? Okay, do I take less sprinters and more throws? Do I take more distance runners because maybe I've opened up a couple of spots there? Is our funding going up or down? Right now,
Yeah.
sitting here on December 11th, I have no clue. So
Yeah. I think
I'm
I know what you hit on earlier, and it's more people just coming in the show. Also, Coach K before said 3,000 football players alone that entered. So it's said going up, but it's important they should know those 45 spots. You say 17 of those are cross country. Is that right?
Yep, that's the
And
NCAA limit. Yeah,
that's not much. That's not much for track and field.
no program is going to exceed 45 and 17. No conference is going to exceed 45 and 17, but they can go underneath that.
Yeah, that's a cap.
Yeah, like I said, the SEC has already said 35 and 10. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, they only mentioned that for men. I don't think they made the determination for women. If they have, I haven't seen the announcement, so I could have totally missed that. So yeah, it is a new era of college athletics. Some other things that people may have seen that may have slipped. A couple of weeks after that announcement, I know that the starting quarterback at Vanderbilt, who beat Alabama a couple of
Fabio.
yeah, he filed a lawsuit against the NCAA saying that it's unfair that junior college athletes only get 2 years of NIL opportunities. So he's basically suing the NCAA for 4 years of eligibility for junior college athletes. So if y'all think the transfer portal is insane now, wait till junior college athletes have 4 years of eligibility. And the NCAA has been settling a lot of these suits. They've been settling because again, this is my humble opinion. After I've been a coach for 28 years, 26 of them have been at the collegiate level. I saw the BCS change, into the playoff. I've seen the playoffs now evolve. I've seen people try to chase the dollars and conference realignment and all this other stuff. But my humble opinion, I think the NCAA does not. Well, number one, does not want the student athletes to unionize. I think that's a big fear. The second thing, which I think probably is bigger than number one, is they don't want the power schools to leave and take their ball and go play somewhere else. And decide to do it on their own. I know there had been talks years back in making the NCAA tournament, the basketball tournament, a power conference tournament only. I know they've been talking about that. I've heard rumors that the NCAA meet they've been talking about that. And you're talking about that was about 6-7 years ago they were talking about that. I don't know if that's ever going to come to fruition, but I think this day and age may allow it. But it's going to be harder. If you're a kid at a power school and you've got a solid mark in a jump or a throw, or you got a solid time in a race, but it's not helping them win, you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go. Now again, that trickles down. Adds less opportunities for junior college athletes. There's less opportunities for international athletes. There's less opportunities for high school athletes. It is what it is now. So a lot of kids that probably, wouldn't look at a school like mine or, a school that I coached at before coming here at Louisiana Tech are now probably going to have to start looking at those type of schools.
So you're going to see an increase in those schools on D2, D3?
I think so. But again, D2, I don't even think D3 offers scholarships from what I know.
No, they don't. No.
So, and again, there's going to be a finite amount of opportunities there because of what their budget constraints may be. I mean, I coached at a D2 school at Cal State Los Angeles. I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't going to have 100 men and 100 women. That wasn't going to happen. I still only got X amount of coaches. So, and you only got X amount of academic support staff. You only got X amount of trainers. You only got X amount of sport strength and conditioning people. So if there is a good thing about these roster limitations, I think athletic departments can be a little bit more efficient in their resources and providing resources for student athletes because you're streamlining the rosters. So I think your academic professionals are going to have a little bit less people to deal with. Everybody's going to have to be way more intentional, not only recruiting, but bringing them in, onboarding them, and supporting and sustaining them. But again, transfer portal. In theory, these kids can transfer every semester as long as they leave eligible and they arrive eligible.
They don't have to sit out a season or nothing like that.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, those days are gone.
And I was talking to a coach, a friend of mine the other day. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's just like social media. We didn't have that when I was coming through. I'm not going to beat kids up because they have it. I mean, my dad had to listen to 8 tracks and record players. I had CDs and cassettes. So what? It's music, right? So it is what it is. So, us old heads who've been here a while, and it's crazy that I'm considering myself an old head, but I'm in year 28. We got to adapt and adjust. Sitting around here complaining about it is not going to help. It's just not.
What's your take on it, Coach Harvey?
Man, Coach Vaughn's got a way more experience on this than I think I ever will, right? But from a parent perspective and from a club coach perspective, I have to help temper the parents and the athletes with what the opportunities are out there, right? I mean, just because you step on the track and you run a fast time doesn't mean you automatically gonna get a D1 scholarship or D2 scholarship. I mean, I'm a senior IT manager with Hawaiian Airlines. That's my day job, but also I delve in data, and I have data that shows that it don't matter what level you run on, they running fast everywhere. D1, D2, D3, right? So to the point that Coach Vaughn was making, like D3s do not give scholarships, right? That's the reason why for me, when I coach my athletes and go through the process, I'm always harping on that merit money, on that scholarship, that academic money, right? Because that's something that you're going to earn yourself in the classroom, regardless of what you do on the track. But to the point of those, I think, Coach Vaughn is absolutely right. I mean, we got to stay in tune. We got to educate ourselves. We got to adapt. I mean, it's certainly different than, when I was running track, when I played college football and ran college track at New Mexico State back in the day. It's different to adapt. I mean, and just honestly, as a parent, going through with my daughter, man, we feel so very fortunate to be in the position that we were in. I mean, for her to, Portland ain't no powerhouse school, right? But it's an opportunity for her to run track at a collegiate level, to chase her dreams and to get a fantastic and awesome education. And I think that's what it all boils down to, for me.
Yeah, and that's what I say on this show a lot. I know that's how I treat my situation with my daughter is go to school. Priority is going to be education first, right?
Indeed.
Second is going to be track and field, and then if anything happens after that, it's going to happen, But I just think a lot of coaches, select coaches, because college coaches they know about it, and parents who's been through the system they know about it. I think they still telling these kids, hey, you're going to get a full scholarship running track. That's it.
Yeah.
And I tried to explain that the other day, and it's just like blew some people's mind. It's like, you telling me this girl's running 11.4 straight out of high school, she ain't getting no full scholarship? Yeah, I'm telling you that.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that. And if you think you're gonna go to these Power 4, Power 5 schools, lower deal D1 schools making demands, they gonna show you the door, man.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. We
yeah,
can
we
hear you.
can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear
So,
you.
I mean, just say, it's like our last conversation that I was on, the development piece.
Mm-hmm.
11-4 hasn't made an SEC final since the 90s. It hasn't,
Yeah.
right? But you look at what's going on now, I mean, what, 10-17, 10-18 hasn't made an SEC final since maybe 2019. It's 2024, getting ready to be 2025. 2047 didn't make the SEC final at 200 meters. That's the SEC final. Florida and Georgia and the moves that they've made and the Texas A&Ms and the LSUs, they want to win NCs.
Yes.
And
They
you're talking about now there are more kids running sub 10-10.
Yeah.
There are more kids running 19. I mean, what people think is elite isn't as elite as people think it is. I mean, I got a kid telling me, he's 100-meter guy, and he's telling me, I want to run 10-1 and go pro, and I'm like, dude, you're not going to get any money for that.
Yeah.
I said, you got to realize 995 and 997 didn't make the Olympic trials final. So the thing that we've got to do, I think, in our sport is we've got to start kind of being honest with it because the information is out there, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
you got to process the information. Go on TFRS. This is the advice that I give everybody. Go on TFRS.
Go on TFRS.
Do not look at the conference list. I don't care about a list. I care about what happens at the meet, right? So if you want to see consistency of a conference, what you do is you click on the conference championship result. Go back from 24, 23, 22, and if you really want to go back a little further, go back to 21 and now 19, right? But 3 to 5 years. Take the average winner of each race, each jump, each throw, each event. Take the average the last place, not finisher, but the last qualifier to finals, right? Because things happen in the final, right? And yeah, standard deviation and this, all that, and the other, yeah, whatever. But I think the best indicator is the last mark, the last time, the last throw, the last jump to make a final. And that range tells you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
It tells you in real time how those events are trending. It tells you what level you have to work above. And it tells you how these schools are going to spend money. Now, if you think you want to be at a power school, they're looking at the NCAA meet. So go back and do 23, 24, 23, 22 NCAA meet. Go back and look and see what the averages are. I had a young lady a couple of years ago. Hey, I want to run at Arkansas. Well, honey, what are you running? I'm running 55.4. I'm hoping to get to 54. I'm like, do you not understand, honey, that their eighth fastest 400-meter girl is 52.8? What do they need you for? Right? They're not gonna. Right? Yes, you are running well. You are. I'm not denying you that. But for what they are going for, when they ran 317 outdoors last year, when 325 is a C team relay, they don't need 54, 53 second splits. They're not looking for that. Now Arkansas is looking for 49 second splits. They barely they don't even need 51 second splits anymore. They're that good. So now what does that do? The USCs of the world, the Georgias of the world, the Floridas of the world, the LSUs of the world, the Texases of the world, they have to respond to the new trend. So the same thing's happening in our conference.
So I'm pulling up. So y'all keep talking because I'm pulling up TFRS for y'all.
Yeah.
So people can actually see.
Yeah. Hey, Coach,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Coach Vaughn. So I dropped in the chat. You can't. It's probably private chat. Like I said, I pulled some screen scraping off of the TFRS from a while back. This is from 2024, and it just lists the top. I think it goes back to about 500 so results, and then I have that average of what the times are, and I have men and women's tab up to the 400 meters. I started doing the high jump, but I got distracted. But the 1, the 2, the 4, they're listed there, and you can see. I mean, the data don't lie, right? So when I have athletes that are, Coach, I want to go D1, like well, what's your time? And a young man couldn't tell me he's 11 flat. What you gonna join the girls team, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
right? Because 11 flat, man, they don't
Doesn't
get
do
much.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's just I think just being honest, man. I think
yeah.
that's the feedback that I take, and just even more so that I will have to take forward is,
Hmm.
being open and honest with the athletes, and open and
Yep.
honest with the parents, showing them the data, maybe
Hmm.
helping them find those target schools that maybe fit into, where they may fit into, and then, if you want to back yourself, I'm not going to stop you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you think you want to do it, and you meet the walk-on standards, and you can get a roster spot with the club, go for it.
yeah.
Go for it. Right?
It's so much harder now. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, with the roster limitation, I give you a perfect example for me. You know, I love talking about him because he's just such a great young man, and I'm so proud of him. But I had a young man, Jordan Bowes. Jordan Bowes was 11-1, 22-5 in high school. He ended up a five-time All-American and ran 44.82 and 20.37. In this day and age, do I take an 11-1, 22-5 guy
Yeah.
if I'm close to my roster limit?
Mhm.
So those type of things are going to start going away because coaches are going to start making these decisions. But
Mhm.
they're basing the decisions off the responding trends. So in the SWAC, I got the Grambling as an assistant coach in the fall of 2019. I went back and I did the math, did the research. Okay, the average winner in the men's 100 when I got in this conference was 1034. The average last time to make a final was 1072. Going into the 2025 season now, the average winner is 1017, and the average last time to make a final is 1056.
Mm.
So if that happens, all you got to do is just know. Well, the probability of that, the numbers in the 200s that starting to drop is going to do the same thing.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
like I got the conference, you could win with 2072 on average. You can make a final with 21-6. It's now 2044 and 2139. The 400 is 4616 and 4787. When I got in the conference, it was 4686 and 4888.
Mm.
And you're talking about that's with COVID happening and a whole
Mhm.
outdoor season being removed. So we have to respond to the trends at a college level. It doesn't matter what you think we have access to. You know, you're never going to get this type of kid or anything. You don't know what I got access to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got great connections, former athletes, coaches, what have you, international, junior college. I have great relationships with a lot of people. You don't know who I have access to. And now, with the way the transfer portal is, with roster limitations, look. I'm gonna give you something out here. I'm gonna fudge the numbers, and I'm not gonna name names. But I had a power conference coach try to send me a kid that ran 1030 and 2070. Okay, 1030 and 2070.
Mm.
Why?
Mhm.
Because in his conference, 1030 and 2070 could not even make a final,
Mm.
and he was training with two NCAA finalists.
Yeah.
Their 4x1 was an NCAA finalist, and he couldn't get on their relay with 1030 and 2070.
Mhm.
So he's not on any money, or he's not on any significant money. Roster
Mhm.
limitations are coming up. Hey, coach, why don't you take this kid? I think you can do something with him.
Mhm.
That's gonna start happening too,
Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere. That 50-foot long jumper or 50-foot triple jumper at a power school XYZ university,
Mhm.
he and that's trying to win a national championship. That 50-foot is a good jump, but it's not. You can't qualify for regionals with 50-foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't make an NCAA final with 50-foot. And if he was on money, you thought you were going to develop him into a 53, 54 footer that's going to make a final. You ain't got time to waste.
No time to waste.
You know,
Right.
because the narrative, and we talked about it last time, the last time I was on, right when the Olympics track and field was starting. You know, I mean, it's, you guys want these kids to score, come in and score right now. The development is gone.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Why is that true? Because these kids can literally transfer as many times as they want.
Yeah.
So they may not have the patience to develop, or the moment they get good, or they develop and they get good enough, they could be gone right after that. They have that right to do so. So we got to get something out of them, especially if people expect us to spend money on them. But the other part is the kid that's not quite there yet, we can't afford to give them money on a come see and let's find out basis because we're limited on money, we're limited on roster space, and we're limited on time to get it done. There's no patience in college athletics anymore. That is gone, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now, there's no pay. Y'all can call it unfair all you want. It is gone because of these changes. So these coaches are responding to these trends. They have to. And I mean, I challenged a high school coach the other day. If you think it's that easy, come do it. Come do it. You make those decisions and you get left behind because another coach done figured it out in the conference and now you can't get in no finals. Your AD is going to be looking at you as like, why we got no points and we spending all this money? That's
So is it the AD decision on if the school is going to fund all those spots, or is it above his head?
I'm sure it's going to be a collaboration. In some instances, it's going to be an AD president thing because you got to look at your budget. What can a lot because like I'm telling you, my AD. If you tell him to go down the street and there's some money to help track and field, he gonna go down the street. He'll beat you there. My AD's serious. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's proactive. He wants to win. I love the man's energy. I love his hustle. I love all of that. But he's limited in what he can do. So if the money's not there, he can't do anything. He might want to be able to do all he can. So it's not a matter if they want to, it's a matter of what they can do. And then what's the value? You know, because I mean, I don't care where you at, right? If you at a power school, your AD, that head AD, that person's there, man, to take care of, like if you're the AD at Kentucky, man, the people who donate this money, yeah, they want track and field to be successful because of Kentucky, but man, if basketball ain't successful at Kentucky, man, they're gonna be on that man's head. If you're at one of my favorite football teams is Florida State, they on that man's head for a 2-10 season. And track and field is good at Florida State. Baseball is good at Florida State, but that ain't what you're known for. That ain't what these people put that money to build that new practice facility that they got coming up. They didn't pay Mike Norvell a 10 years, $60+ million contract. It's what you can do relative to what you're bringing in. And the other thing that I think is two things that I think people are going to start seeing. Number one, a lot of these athletes are going to start facing their true market value, and they're not going to like what they hear. And then the truth is going to be exposed about how much money these schools are actually making. Right? That I think that's getting ready to be exposed to, because not everybody's sitting in the black. A lot of schools are sitting in the red.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of power Division I schools that are sitting in the red. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think these moves are made, because they don't want a revenue share with mid-majors and HBCUs. You know, y'all tune in to College Game Day to see us. Y'all tune in to the March Madness tournament to see us.
Yeah.
Right? You know, go to the mall. You know, Coach, you're in Hawaii. I guarantee you can go to a mall in Hawaii in Honolulu somewhere and find a USC and a Notre Dame hat.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Are you going to find a Grambling hat in Honolulu? Probably not.
Unlikely.
You know. So those things matter. You know, because that revenue stream, you got to keep that stream. It can't be a stream. It's got to turn into an ocean.
It's ocean, fire hose, right?
You can't have no puddles out here.
Yeah, you got to keep it pumping, right?
Yeah. So if that revenue thing is there, you can have the most creative AD in the world. You can have the most passionate coach in the world, most passionate fans in the world. You might not be able to do what you want to do. So they might be in a position where they're going to be sitting in these boardrooms and saying, you know. And if, unfortunately, this conversation is going to be had. Can we afford to opt in on men's track and field? We can't get rid of women's because of the Title IX or
right?
The perception of Title IX. Because Title IX is great legislation, It's just been poorly misinterpreted in the NCAA because it was never designed to cut men's sports. Go back and read it. It was never designed to cut men's opportunities. It was to make the playing field equitable for women. And Title IX has been a scapegoat to kill men's sports. Right? We saw in the late 90s, early 2000s, we saw the death of men's gymnastics, volleyball, and wrestling. Men's track and field's on the chopping block. That we're next. I mean, you're talking about within the last 5 years, we've seen Clemson and Minnesota, two power conference teams, and Clemson, who's been in the football playoff multiple times,
national champs.
Yes, getting that payoff from the national championships and the playoff appearances. Try to cut men's track and field for what? Why? They got the money. They had the money. So the thing is, not that they're not making money, is that they're spending money at a higher rate than what they're making.
Let me ask y'all this too. So if I was a coach, I'm looking at I'm recruiting a senior girl out of high school. She's a legit, let's say 11.43, right? She stays around that area. She done hit it multiple times this year. I'm a Big 12 school, right? So I'm looking at the numbers on Tefers.
Are you looking at this year's list, or are you looking at the
last year? 2024 championship. Yeah,
so
outdoor championship.
Yeah, the best metric is the average of the conference.
Okay, but let me. I just want to ask y'all this though. Just looking at these numbers here, it say the fastest was 11.1. 9 was 11.4. Am I gonna offer that senior a full scholarship, or am I gonna even talk to her, or am I gonna go to the portal to get me a 11.3 girl?
It depends on who you are.
Yeah.
If you're Edric Floreal and Calvin Robinson and Wes Kitley at Texas Tech, you might be in a totally different situation than you are at another program in the same conference. Because remember, you can look at that list too, but you got to remember you added several schools. You added a really good Arizona State team. You added a really good Arizona team to that conference. You added a really good Houston
Colorado
team
in there.
Colorado, even though they primarily been distance, they gonna ride some prime stuff now. You can't tell me them coaches ain't riding the prime chain. So you might have access to more or international kids or what have you. And if you got an international kid that's running a little bit faster that you have access to, it just depends on who you are and where you are.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't want to speak for those coaches and say, oh yeah, you do this or you do that, but if I'm new in that conference, if it's me, if you're asking me what would I do? And let's say if let's say I'm at a Texas. Okay. Texas got their eyes on a national championship. Edric Floreal did not come there just to win conference championships. That's a stepping stone on the way to the NCAA. He wants Olympians. I got Julian Alford training here. I've got Dina Asher-Smith training here. I'm looking at it deeper and saying, can this person handle this load? Because you about to step in the valley of the monsters. So I'm looking at other things. I'm looking, what's the 200? Can she long jump? Can she hurdle? Can she, what's the 4x4 split? GPAs, can she get in school? All of that. There's so many factors that you got to look at. And then now he's got to look at what his roster limitations are going to be.
Yeah.
How many 100-meter runners am I going to carry? If let's say they're going up, right? And now Texas is in the SEC. So totally different set of circumstances for it. We know conference realignment can still keep happening. So there's so many different factors in there. You can't really say, okay, yeah, that girl's 11.43. I'm automatically going to do this.
Yeah.
If she's 11.43 and you're let's say you're like an Arkansas on the 100, that 11.43 might not move for you because she might not be able to make a relay. But you might see, oh well, she might get to 11.2, but she's gonna get hidden for a while.
Yeah.
So beauty is in the eye of the beholder on it.
So Coach,
go ahead.
Man, Coach Harvey.
Yes, sir.
For your select team, are you Are you like your athletes?
Mm-hmm.
Are you pitching that y'all need to do more than one event, or if this athlete is good in this event, you need to just stick with it and get really good at it?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. So first off, shout out to Damian Smith. That's my high school teammate from
Oh,
yeah,
right, right.
the coach Damian. Um, man, for me, just at the club level, it's about development, right? So I'm trying to develop, and I got some nice development. I got a heptathlete that's a national champ, right? So she's actually looking to convert to the decathlon. I'm not sure if you guys heard about that. They're looking to start women's decathlon now, right?
I heard
So
that.
I'm trying to get her, developed to that. So the athletes that are doing one event, we're trying to not get them to specialize in a sense, right? But we're always looking to keep them getting faster and keep them developed. There's a website I use. I won't necessarily shout it out, but there's a website I use to kind of give me a target. It's funny because I showed that to Coach Hayes, Jonah Hayes, and Coach Vaughn. I think I showed it to you one time,
Hmm.
and it was Run Crew, and it's
Yeah.
like, man, those times aren't even near what
Hmm.
I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But at least putting an opportunity where they could they could fit in, right? But I mean, with all this roster spots and the limits and things like that. I mean, I could see from Coach Vaughn's perspective that the decision is going to be looked at with with even more intense eyes on, do I bring in a high school student running 11.4,
Mhm.
or do I
Yeah.
bring in a transfer running 11.4? Because they've been through that. They've been through that experience. An international
Yeah,
athlete may have, more, even from the standpoint of roster size, the international athlete may get even more money to come where the track money doesn't have to be as much. So, I mean, Coach Vaughn, you hit the nail right on the head, man. I mean, it's been
Hmm.
extreme informant
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and with those sites, the Run Recruit and the NCSA stuff and all that, I tell people this all the time. They don't talk to those coaches when they put those metrics out because they don't
Hmm.
use the metrics that we use, right?
Yeah.
No disrespect to them. They're doing their thing. Everybody's trying to find their place, and I ain't knocking nobody's hustle. But talk to us.
yeah,
Hmm.
Get to know what our rationales are, right? Because what might work for me may not work for my friend Coach White down at Southern. It may not work for my friend Brian Johnson at Louisiana Tech. They're using their metrics for their reasons, right? So talk to us before you go start posting somebody's standards based off of what their roster is. Because you post my standards in, I don't know, whatever in whatever event. I don't care. Let's say I just haven't focused on that event,
Hmm.
right? Let's say I've been putting heavier emphasis on another event, right? So that doesn't mean I'm gonna take when I take a 100-meter runner or a 400 runner or whatever. That doesn't mean I'm gonna take whatever just because
Hmm.
this
yeah,
is the only thing that we have. Because y'all are assuming that everybody that we have is on scholarship, and then everybody's
Yeah.
on full scholarship, and that's not the
Yeah.
case,
That's not the
man.
case.
right?
And I'm telling you,
Yep.
and that's what I was trying to explain last week, man. That you don't know who on a you don't know who on a full scholarship unless you was
Hmm.
in there with the athlete, the
Yep,
parents, and the coach.
That's right.
yep,
You don't know. You would
yep,
never know.
yep.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
my first year at the University of Washington, my very first season there, we ran 3:03:85. Right? That's pretty doggone fast. We had a guy who won a Pac-10 championship that year. He ended up winning two NCAA titles at 800 meters. We had an NCAA semifinals at 400 hurdles, and we had another semifinals at 400 meters. Okay, 3/4 of that team were walk-ons the day we ran 3:03:85.
Mm.
The day we ran it, right? But people look at the time and say, "Oh, they must all be on fulls." No, they eventually earned their money.
Hmm.
They earned some money. Some earned a full, others didn't. But 3/4 of that team will walk on. So you don't know where a team is in their development cycle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So people assume these things based off of just the numbers. And shout out to my dad, man. Numbers trend to only tell you where you're trending. You can always change the direction that you trend.
Hmm.
So we're always working on changing the direction of what we trend, where we trend, and how we trend, right? So we all want to elevate, and we all want our throwers to elevate, our jumpers to elevate, our distance runners, our multi events, our sprints, our jumps. We want the whole team to elevate. But again, just like there's levels to it in these divisions, in these schools and the resources, there's also levels to it because not everybody can be on a full scholarship. Not everybody can be on money, right? So you're gonna get some kids that hey man, you need a little bit more seasoning. We're gonna have to keep you in the oven a little bit longer. But while you cooking, we still shopping for other ingredients. Right.
Yep.
So and you just never know. Kids will come out and surprise you. And I tell walk-ons two things, man. One, do the things that don't require talent, and two, don't make yourself easy to cut. If you come in there and you walk on and you start scoring points at a conference level, I gotta take care of you, because if I don't, somebody else will. So put me in that position.
That's a good point.
Put me in that position. I want to be in that.
Put the pressure on the coach.
Put me in that, because that means we both did our job. So let's go. I'll take care of you.
That's a good point.
But you gotta take care of yourself, and you gotta take care of us.
And if you that athlete, that's what you should want, man. You should want somebody coming there. Hey, look, man, like I'm 10 toes down here. You can come take my spot, make me better. Let's make this team better.
We want the kids that want to be here, right? So this roster limitation does leave space for walk-ons to come and bet on themselves and get it done. But the thing is, what's happened now because of the roster limitation is no patience. You got to show some life. You got to show a heartbeat at least. In some programs, you got to come and eat now. Right. Because we get into this development conversation, and these elite schools and this, that, and the other. I don't know if y'all remember the NCAA champ a couple of years back, Tony McQuay from Florida, 400-meter champ. Tony McQuay was a 47 mid walk-on and ran 44.2 there. But when I talked to Coach Holloway about him, man, because they had Calvin Smith Jr. there at the time, Coach Holloway was like, man, hey, look, I got 2 words for you. I said, what, Coach? Tony McQuay. I was like, Tony McQuay? He's like, yeah, that kid is shooting his shot. He came here ready to go. He said, that kid's going to do something. He's going to surprise the whole country. And year and a half later, he's an NCAA champ. So even those schools are doing it, but you got to show something. You can't just poke your chest out with an empty wallet. You got to put some money down on the table, and it's got to be some big money. And the bigger the place you go, the bigger the money you got to put down, because they're not going to listen to you. I was at a school. I was at a school a couple of years ago, and kid come to me and said, Coach, he had run whatever he had run in the 400, but it wasn't competitive for us at the conference level. He said, Coach, I don't think you listen to me. I was like, man, what you're running, man, you ain't speaking loud enough. You train at a great level, but you don't race at the same level. So I need you to race at the level that you train at, and I'll listen. But something's not getting through, and I beat myself up over it. Like, what am I not getting through to him? But every day in practice, you can see it. Like, it's coming, and then you get to the meet, and it never comes. And I said, son, how long you think I'm gonna wait on that? When I can go recruit somebody else down the street, or on the other side of the country, or on the other side of the planet, or at a junior college somewhere. Now you add the transfer portal to it, right? And you got to find a way. You got to produce. Production always matters over potential. Always. As athlete, coach, teacher, trainer, strength and conditioning, production always matters over potential. So you can't be, and this is to the parents, this is to the coaches, this is to the athletes. You cannot at this level, once you get into adult level track and field, you cannot be high maintenance and low production. You can't. You can't be the one I need every spike on the planet. I need to be taking up all the trainer's time, and then you come out here and you can't bust a grape if I gave you the busted grape. You gotta put it. You gotta put on. You are an adult track and field. All y'all high school kids wanting to get through, you're an adult track and field. We don't coach boys. We don't coach girls at this level. We coach men and women. And so you're held to an adult level standard of production, academically, athletic, and socially. So now things are just more intense on that production. That's all it is.
And to both of y'all, what can y'all tell those athletes now? They're seniors, right? They didn't get signed. They haven't signed yet. What advice can you give them, and what advice can you give their parents, right? Do their parents need to? You might need to go to a JUCO and work your way up, or should the parent keep pushing or keep calling Texas? They're going to call you back.
Yeah.
What do y'all think?
Go ahead, Coach.
No, Matt, I think just being realistic, right? And I say that, I know that sounds so generic, but there's opportunities to run at every level. So you got to go in with whatever your idea, your passion is, right? Sometimes the realisticness of running at a D1 may not be in God's plan for you, right? So I think, for me, when I tell them, like, there's opportunities to run on any level, right? And the collegiate athlete, they run just as hard and sometimes and just as fast as in the D3 NAIA JUCO level as they do at the D1 level. The data is there. But I think just being realistic, right? If it's March and April and you ain't got nothing and you've been passing up stuff, man, you're bad, right? So I think, trying to just finding a good place, finding a good home, making and building that relationship, backing yourself, saying, okay, cool, I'm gonna go there. Maybe it's not my first choice or my second choice, but I'm gonna go here. They're gonna give me the opportunity, and just back yourself, right? And if it don't work out there, man, flip it and go the other route, right? Back yourself somewhere else. But I think just being realistic, man. I mean, I think that's the thing I would leave.
I definitely would piggyback on that, but the thing that I would add to it is, number one, don't make decisions out of desperation.
Mm.
Don't get desperate. Make decisions with urgency.
Mm-hmm.
Urgency. Collect the data, collect the facts, analyze and assess, and make a decision. But kids are risking it now, right? Like I offered a young man, I think he's a decent middle distance runner, can help us in our conference. I'm gonna wait. All right, son. Good luck to you, because the roster limitations are coming. Those opportunities may not be there then. So I pray you don't have to make a decision based off of desperation, because I'm going to move on. Right. So you at least need to keep in contact with me and let me know how things are going, because at least it says, oh well, he's still in play. But don't make decisions off of desperation. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful with yourself. Be truthful with the situation you're in, and then every day go to work. Maximize the environment that you have. I hate when kids ask me, well, what should I be doing? You should be talking to your coach. You want me to coach you and my program? That's just my father was my high school coach. I love the profession. I grew up around the profession too much for me to disrespect another person's training environment. Go sit down with your coaches and see what your weaknesses are, and start maximizing your strengths. Be a student of the game. You got a phone in your hand just like I do. Get on YouTube and watch your favorite athlete and start implementing those things into your game. Make sure you're taking care, crossing T's and dotting I's. Get your NCAA ID number ready. Get your FAFSA application in.
Exactly. Man.
Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Right? Because if you make a decision on where you're going to send an 18 to 22-year-old solely based off of money, 9 times out of 10 it ain't going to work for you.
It ain't gonna work,
because money's going to do. Money don't have to figure none of us out. They don't have to figure me out or you out, but money will always figure itself out. So stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Maximize your environment and don't make decisions off of desperation.
I agree. That's some good advice. And my thing is go to a school that wants you. You got this coach that keep calling you, like you said. go to the school that wants you, you know. And I have been seeing though on social media, a lot of these top athletes in high school, they kind of branching out to these other schools now to secure spots on roster, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's understandable.
Yeah.
And yeah, let me just throw this in here real quick. I just want to know y'all thoughts on this, right? These stacked rosters, right? That's recruiting all these elite athletes. Just say Georgia, right?
Mhm.
How does it work, right? We got all these athletes here. We got a meet coming up. I know somebody said it might be two meets, right?
Mhm.
They might send one group over there, one group over there. But if it's one meet that weekend, somebody is not running. But if you got a roster full of high caliber athletes, is that not putting extra stress on the coach and the program and making practice hostile, or is it just business? What do you think?
I can't speak for Carroll or any other program like that. But trust me, those coaches are smart enough to make those decisions and make the appropriate decisions to make sure those athletes are ready when they're needed the most.
I got you.
The invitational meets, they're just good indicators of what's going to happen later. So nobody's putting a whole bunch of emphasis on invitationals. They're putting their emphasis on the postseason. You don't get that type of roster to just go be good at Texas relays or go set a collegiate record
Yeah.
in Texas relays and then you can't show up at the big show. They did that to send a message that we're going to be players at a national level on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. So yeah, they're going to have to manage the personalities and egos of those young people, those young 18 to 22 year olds, which is always a challenge. That's always a challenge. I don't care where you're at. So they'll manage it appropriately. I'm sure training. I would love to see them train on a daily, weekly basis because I've had a good team before with a good deep team, and those rosters are fun to coach because it's almost like a meet at practice sometimes. So but they all got to come together. They've got talent, but now they got to learn how to be a team. They got to learn how to be teammates to each other. They can be friends, they can be friendly, but they got to learn how to be teammates. So all of that is under that umbrella of Carol Gilbert Smith and her staff, and she has proven over the course of her career that she can handle it. I don't care.
And it's not just Georgia. You got Arkansas, you got USC, man.
The Johnson brothers.
Georgia's not the only.
I mean, those are my frat brothers, man. They know how to handle it. They've been there. They've seen those wars. They've created those wars. So they know exactly what their plan is, and I'm sure the ladies on that team, the guys on those teams, know exactly what the plan is. And I always say that's between them and them. They don't have to announce that plan to the world, but they're sending a message. This is we're coming in, ready to go. John Wick, we'll kill you with a gun or a pencil. Doesn't matter. So but that's their attitude, and they're coming forward. So I look forward to seeing the fruits of that labor. Because one thing, now they got them. Now they got to get to work.
It's gonna be interesting to see how all that unfolds over there. And how the athlete's going to get worked in, and it's going to be pretty interesting. I got a coach here, this coach from UT Tyler, saying kids need to understand that there is little difference between D1 mid-major programs and D2 programs.
That's got to be my guy Kaiser. That's my guy Kaiser.
You know it? Yep.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Kaiser.
Okay. That's my guy. He's right. I've said this. I've coached D2. I've coached NAIA. The sport is the sport. It's still 400 meters, right? If you do the work, you're mentally and emotionally prepared. When the big moments come, you can run with anybody, right? You can jump with anybody. You can throw with anybody. You can compete with anybody if you've done the work. This is the one sport that don't lie, right? So show up. Stay ready. Again, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready to get the work done. The work is the work. I tell my team, they hear this from me a lot. I'm a firm believer if God meant us to handle more, he would have made the day longer. So we just got to take it 24 hours at a time. You know, so that's all those programs have to do, and whatever it is they do, you know, it has to work. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, Dennis Shaver down at at LSU and Mike Holloway, they both have elite squads, but they're not doing the same thing every day. But they're working to the same standard
Yeah.
in their way, right? You know, Edric Floreal and the Johnson brothers, they're not doing the exact same things every day. They have their philosophies and their idiosyncrasies, but they're working to the same standard. They're trying to beat each other. So iron sharpens iron, as one man sharpens another. So when they get to these meets, they know. So there's no animosity or anything like that towards these coaches or these athletes. Like, it's just the work, and you know, you go into those meets and you compete. You know, but you gotta be there to do it. So
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Coach Cody? This my guy here. He says track is track. If the school has good coaches, times are times, marks are marks. Fastest man in college came out of West Texas A&M 2 years in a row.
and they've had a great program the last couple of years. They've done an excellent job. You know, I mean, but a lot of those coaches go under the radar because they're not at schools with known names, historical names. One guy comes to mind right now. Another one of my frat brothers, Eric Jenkins at South Florida. You know, Eric Jenkins been getting it done since the Western Kentucky days. You know, his last couple of years at Western Kentucky, they were running 302 and 38 every year. Their ladies were running well into the low 330s every year. They were running 40, 44s, 43s every year. You know, and you know, I know where Western Kentucky is. He's a Western Kentucky alum. It's you know, it's kind of tucked away in Kentucky. Now he's at South Florida. Go look at what South Florida's team did last year.
Yeah,
you know, they dominated the sprints in their conference. Dominated in a good sprint conference.
And I just want to, you know, hit on that again and again. That man, I like in my daughter's recruiting process. Man, I've made some great coaches. Man, I made some great coaches. It's some phenomenal coaches out there, and a lot of these kids, man, they missing out.
Yeah,
you know, because they shooting too high. You know what I'm saying? And this coach already, because you got coaches out there that can look at your video. Oh, I know what's wrong. I can fix that. You know?
Yeah.
But you still, And I just, you know, for the parents who's listening and the athletes who's watching this right now, y'all need to be mindful. Be mindful of that.
Yeah.
If a coach is calling you, trying to recruit you, especially nowadays, take it serious. Go on there, research that coach. See what he's done. Go research his program. Hey, DM his athletes
and answer back.
Go ahead.
I mean, that was and that was one of the things we had to make sure we did. I mean, because you know, during the recruitment process, you know, there are people that would contact you like, oh man, I'm not really interested in moving somewhere in the middle of, you know, mid-America, but be respectful and answer back to that same coach could end up at a school that, you know, that you may end up in the future possibly transferring to or trying to get one of your homegirls or homeboys into, or you know, even as a club coach trying to get, you know, one of your athletes to take care of. So I think it's the whole process, I think, is about relationship building, right? And trust, as you mentioned, Coach Vaughn. Like Coach Vaughn said, hey, reach out to him, right? Don't go off of what they say on the internet, right? Hey, Coach Vaughn, I got a question. You know, blase, can you help me out here? And if he has time, he gonna get back to you, right? So, but yeah, man, I think just reiterating and keep, you know, harping on and saying, you know, from a parent's perspective, being realistic, from an athlete's perspective, being realistic on what you're doing and what you're working on, and you know how you're competing and how you're preparing to compete and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would piggyback on that, man. That's, you know, find the right fit.
Yeah.
Find the right fit for you. You know, for me, man, I'll answer. I don't know. I've answered 99% of the emails. I'm not perfect. I answer 99% of the DMs and the text messages and the Twitter messages. The Instagram stuff. 99% of them I get to. If I don't see it, then that means I didn't. You know, if you didn't get a response, it means I didn't see it or I haven't seen it yet.
Coach, just to double click on that one, Do y'all look at questionnaires? That's one of the things I've been kind of
I
guiding
do.
my. Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I know some that don't.
Okay.
But it's just how you look at it.
Yeah.
I don't now. I will be honest with you. I probably don't have the same answer rate to questionnaires that I do to social media and text messages and emails.
Okay. Okay.
And it's just I've just found that a lot of them just
Mhm.
aren't in a position where they can help us, or I could give them more than maybe I mean, a lot of these kids would be kids that before all this stuff started coming down, kids that I would consider for a tryout. And I don't guarantee anything for a tryout.
Yeah.
So they just don't get the same response rate.
Sure. Sure.
But there have been some where I'll kind of look and say, huh, okay, let me flag that one. Let me get that one to my jump coach, or let me get that one to my throws coach, or or I might need to at least respond to an email and just say, hey, look, I got it.
Yeah.
Let's talk. But some coaches aren't like that. I mean, I think when I was at Washington, it was probably really rare at that time.
Okay.
UCLA has a recruiting, or had, I don't know if they still have it, but they had a recruiting office. So a lot of the responses people would get would be from them.
Right.
And then it would be funneled to us as coaches to decide what we're gonna do with it. But a lot of what UCLA did was they kind of filtered the ones that based off of the standards that we had, they filtered the ones that couldn't. They filtered them out that couldn't help us. So
Sure.
we never saw those. We only
Right.
saw the ones that they would send out and get returned from kids that would help us. Because the
So,
UCLA, like I talked to the guy. The guy was like, yeah, we send questionnaires and information out to every state champion across the country. That's how they used to do it.
Yeah.
Every last one of them.
Right.
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 So that kid, say I'm at UCLA. I got access to all those California kids and kids that want to be in California. That guy maybe in West Virginia that's running 11.5. We're not gonna see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had women on our team running 11.2, 11.1. So we're not gonna see a guy that runs 11.5. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Of
But
course.
now, me as the head coach of this program,
Mm-hmm.
you DM me, you text me, you email me. Shoot, man, I'm gonna at least respond.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
99% of the time.
Yeah. So got this question here that we got another statement. Any particular athletes or y'all looking forward to watch this season 2025? I'm gonna go first. Of course, my daughter. I'm excited. Matter of fact, I'm flying out tomorrow
Right.
There you
on
go.
to Indiana.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we headed to Bloomington tomorrow.
Land of the Kappa man. Land of the Kappa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And I got two, of course, Christine Mallard down at USC. She's back. She's phenomenal. I've been following her since forever. I'm glad to see her back doing her thing again. Jalacia, think she's over there at USC too. Those athletes, man, they not only good athletes, man, they are good individuals as well. Who y'all looking forward to seeing this season?
I'm going to be extremely biased right now. The Grambling State University Tigers and their continuous ascension. Our jumpers, our throwers, our sprinters, our hurdlers, our multi-eventers, our distance runners. I am very excited to see what we're going to do.
Nice.
We open up the first week. We open up at UAB on January 11th. So I'm looking forward to seeing us. I'm always going to look forward to seeing my Kentucky Wildcats, Cats, with my coach Daryl Anderson, with the men's sprinters and a good man in Lonnie Green leading that program. Coach Mike Holloway and the Florida Gators. That's Coach Anderson and Coach Holloway are like brothers, and so those two men are extremely important mentors for me. So I'm always looking to see how Coach Holloway continues to reload that culture in that program. Not just the athletes; they got a culture there. And then any and all of my friends, my teammate at the University of Louisville. Yeah, I said it, Ronnie. Louisville. He's a wild. He's a wild. They needed to get a Wildcat to come over there and coach some spring
Yeah.
ball at Louisville. So I want to see my brother continue to elevate that program. My guy, Eric Jenkins at Western Kentucky and his staff. My guy Kareem Jackson at Wisconsin and his staff. I love me some Ed Bethea at Notre Dame. At Indiana. Any of my people. I'm excited to see them, and I always look forward to postseason competitions. I sit here in my man space, and I got my laser projector, and I get on ESPN and watch ESPN, and I got the 4-5 screens going with all the
watching all the beats.
Yeah, I do that, and then all my people that that are in the post collegiate ranks.
Nice.
And the people in those spaces. I love me some Bobby Kersey, man. I got to sit at his feet for 4 years, and see what his group is going to do. So I'm if you my people, I'm excited to see what you got.
Nice.
My high school people, my club people, all of them. I'm excited to see what all y'all got. I'm just a fan of the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some athletes that, we, as our club has developed, we're starting to put athletes at that level. So I got, kids over at University of California, San Diego, Kai Strawn. I got an athlete at University of California, Santa Barbara, Mia Shepherd, Amelia Steve up at UMass Lowell, Maya Picaro at Dartmouth. So I'm looking forward to seeing the athletes that I've known that have grown up through our program, and then compete at the collegiate level. Man, it's so exciting for them. And of course, Damon mentioned Shanti Jackson. My daughter has run against Shanti every year at the JOs. It's always been one-sided, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. And of course, your daughter, Coach Johnson, to see her run, man. Congratulations! Yeah, I'm looking forward to following Indiana.
Thank you. Yeah, they we got a few comments. Jamisa Ford. Yeah. She can
the SEC meet's gonna be insane.
She can go.
The new SEC meet is gonna be insane.
It's gonna be crazy.
You won't make the women's final if you don't run sub 50. You won't make the final.
Hey, Sateria James.
Sateria
James just went 7-3 on the. It's gonna be wild, man.
Man, look at these 300-meter results. These people out here prove. They are not playing.
Not playing.
Yeah, 37.
Are they running downhill?
Like water.
Are they running that downhill?
Man, bro, they running 37 seconds like people used to run 40 seconds. Like it's ridiculous now. So no,
I see.
It's gonna be.
I think
it's gonna be
a Texas athlete already hit 37. I thought I seen on X.
No, they're not playing.
Yeah, Texas stacked too over there with some stuff.
It's
gonna be a wild
all-out war. It's gonna be an all-out war.
It is. It is.
I'm here for it. I hope to have a dog in the fight. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a dog in the fight, just like everybody else is. But no, there's going to be some great battles at the conference level, at every conference level. There's going to be some great battles at the regional meets outdoors. There's going to be great battles at the NCAA championships indoors and out. I have never understood in my lifetime how people can't get behind the excitement of this sport.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Man, because I told my assistant coach, because we had a guy in the long jump at outdoors in Oregon. And, we stayed and just watched the meet and developed and networked and learned and tried to grow. But I told him, I said, it's first 40. Whoever gets the first to 40, that's who's winning it. And if you can get one more point after that, then that's what you're going to do. How many points did it take to win the NCAA championship this year on the men's side? 41. So there was only 2 teams that scored 40 points, Auburn and Florida. So that ain't going nowhere. They just reload. That's all they do. They just keep reloading. That's why they're elite. So I'm looking forward to all of those battles, man. Shoot. I mean, I don't want to be biased on the high school level, but I'm always cheering for my Brainerd Panthers in Chattanooga, Tennessee, led by one of my club teammates. Hey, man, I'm biased. You my people. If I know you my people. I'm
pulling for you, huh? Always pulling for you.
So if you want to say everybody, then everybody. That's who I'm rooting for.
Oh yeah, I got another with Gwendolyn McDaniel. She's down there at Tarleton State, man.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see her run this season, man. She's
yeah.
Wasn't she
she
the state
she
champ that went what did she go 11-2, 11-3 a couple years ago?
no, she's I know she's her specialty is the four.
Okay,
I
okay,
think she went like 54 or something like that,
mm,
55, low 55 or something like that.
okay.
She's down there in Tarleton State, man.
They
They sneaking
reloading.
around down there
They
with some
reloading.
stuff.
They're
Man,
reloading. Coaches reloading them down there,
yeah,
man.
Charleston
I mean, it's
State.
been it's been some really good hires.
Yeah,
Yeah,
This summer,
yeah,
man. I mean, some really good young coaches getting their shots to lead programs.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Coach Cal, Mississippi
man,
State, he's down
man,
there
yeah, man.
doing his thing. Yep.
It's going to be a great season, man. I just pray everybody gets their work done over the Christmas break, comes back
yeah.
healthy and ready to rock.
Indeed. Any closing thoughts or anything before we get up out of here?
And for me, man, please, y'all have a safe, blessed, enjoyable holiday. Spend time with your family and friends as much as possible. Be thankful for the things that you have in this season. At the end of the year, we always look back and talk about the people that we've lost and shout out to Coach Shirley and his family. Used to be the head coach at Central Arizona Community College. Just passed away recently. Good man, good man, good man. An ambassador of the sport. You just don't know when your time's coming. So let's make sure that we enjoy each other. Keep all the BS down, man, between each other. Because we don't know how long we got left on this globe. So every day that
Yeah,
we get is a
yeah.
blessing. So y'all enjoy your families. Be safe. Don't take yourself too seriously, man, and just have a great holiday.
Coach Harvey,
Yes,
closing
indeed.
thoughts.
I couldn't say it any better. I mean, look out for each other. Look out for yourselves. Take care of yourselves, and yeah, be have a safe and happy holiday season.
Nice. And I just want to say thank you to all the coaches, man. Thank you, Coach Harvey, Coach Vaughn. I appreciate what y'all do, being who y'all are, as coaches, and giving these kids a shot and try, being mentors for the kids as well, man. Because it start with y'all too, It start once they leave us, once they leave the parents, they with y'all. And we trust in y'all that y'all gonna guide them, the right way or whatever. But I just wanna say thank you, to y'all for just keep doing what y'all doing, man. I know sometimes it get hard. I know
Yeah,
sometimes y'all want to do more, but y'all hands are
yeah,
tied,
yeah.
But it's at the end, man. I feel it's going to work out, man. It's going to work out for real. Yeah, shout out to Coach Patia for real.
Yeah, no doubt. That's my guy.
Coach Herb, man, they some good guys. That's why we down there now.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
safe travels to you too, man. Heading up there to see your daughter,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all supporting what I do, man.
yeah.
Because this is why I created this, so we can come on here and
Mhm.
you know have some adult discussions about track and field. Because like I say, everybody don't have the resources. Everybody don't have coaches, trainers that know these type of things, but they can come on here, and they can
Yeah.
listen to y'all, and get some really good information, and
Mhm.
and it works, man. And sometimes I think it don't work, man. And every time I think that, when I go somewhere, just like I went to the airport
Mhm.
a couple of weeks ago, we was flying to Indiana, and somebody said Texas track that.
Yeah.
I listened.
Oh,
And we sat
you
there and
you
talked like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
watch you all the time."
you see you see
Nationwide, man.
screen names all the time, man. But
Yeah.
you never know who's watching your hustle, man. So
Yeah, man.
you're
You never know,
providing
man.
you're providing space and value to this space, man. So no, what you're doing is
Yes, sir.
excellent. And please, man, anybody out there continue to keep supporting what this gentleman's doing for the sport.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you're just like John Dye when he started Die Stat. He started that
Mm,
because his
mm.
daughter was a pole vaulter going to Maryland,
Yeah,
and he put something out there that changed into what the mile split space is, the runner space is, the T for space is. So you're making an impact in this sport, man, and it's greatly appreciated as somebody's been in this sport since I was 6 years old. So no, I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And we'll regroup again later on this season, talk about some of these track meets and all that good stuff. But once again, thank y'all for what y'all do. And we're going to get out of here. Do y'all have any shout outs or anything else before we get out of here?
Everybody. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody.
Cool. All right. We out. Thank y'all.
All right.
The champs is here.
Yo, we out here on the track where the dreamers run. Each step a testament, here we get it done. Crushing all the hurdles, breaking through the pain. The Texas sun shines bright as we train in the lane. Push it to the limit, never look back. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. From Dallas to Houston, yeah, we're raising the bar. Every athlete's story, every victory a star. We hustle on the field, focus sharp like a spear. The clock's ticking down, but the finish line is near. With every single stride, we own the sound. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. From Dallas to Houston, yeah, we're raising the bar. Every athlete's story, every victory a star. We hustle on the field, focus sharp like a spear. The clock's ticking down, but the finish line is near. With every single stride, we own the sound. Texas Track Dad, we run the show. Talking fast times, how the athletes grow. In the podcast groove, we bring the heat. From the field to the mic, can't accept defeat. So lace up your shoes, let the journey commence. Texas Track Dad, we build the suspense.